to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with...
Tyler Hymanson.
And...
Elizabeth Helly.
And thanks for being with us as we are about to wrap up yet another franchise. We're just burning through them like, bam, bam, bam! Exactly like that.
Just like that.
Yeah, I think we're burning through these franchises faster than a flare burns through a light raft.
I mean, at this point... yeah. At this point, I mean...
God damn it, Megan.
Okay, hold on here. We're just at the intro. We haven't even played the trailer yet.
My bad.
I'm just so mad about this movie.
All right, Steve, cue up the trailer for us.
The ocean is beautiful to be enjoyed by everyone. The chances of dying from a shark attack are just 1 in 900 million.
That was the trailer for Open Water 3 Cage Dive, the final open water film.
For now.
Disappointingly, no Nicolas Cage in this movie.
Let's give a quick summary of the film here. So this one is 3 friends head to Australia to do a cage dive tour and film an audition tape for Guts and Glory reality TV show.
It's 3 people in 2015 auditioning for a reality show that only could have existed in 2005.
Yeah. So they...
it's like Amazing Race or whatever, right?
Totally, yeah.
Sure.
They go on the tour and, things get a little hairy. a little bit scary. Hairy, scary? I don't know what I'm saying. So that's the premise. What do you guys want to talk about?
I think that oh boy. Okay. Just as a broad sequel thing, it does bring back. So the movie starts with this footage was found like in a camera at the bottom of the ocean. So it's kind of giving away the ghost or the goat. I don't know the phrase now. Anyway, that they probably didn't make it right because this
or they lost their camera
right. But there's a title card that says, "Hey, this footage was found." Then we see footage of the guy finding the camera.
It's it's like in 2015, an underwater camera was found underwater.
But why? Then why have a scene of a guy discovering the camera? You just said.
I know. Okay, so
no, this movie does so much explaining about the thing that you're seeing.
So much.
It's confusing because so the film has kind of like the last film that had this like fake found footage setup. This one has a full-on found footage setup.
Everything found footage.
But then you find out that you're actually watching a documentary
or something.
Been produced.
A bunch of clips put together.
Yeah.
It's clearly like set up
like a documentary.
Yeah,
or like an episode of 2020.
It's a documentary because I guess.
It's like a Fox special of like, watch these teens die.
Yeah.
Because there's totally those things.
Yeah.
Watch these people die tonight.
No, it's like one of the Simpson parodies of like the Fox live shows. It's the world's most dangerous animals.
Or like Investigation Discovery or something. That's
mermaids.
Crappy channels. Yeah. Animal Planet.
So it turns out that, this whole thing is a documentary. It starts off with, like, interviews of the people who found the camera. And then there's also, like, news footage of, like, what happened.
My favorite thing is that there's this police chief giving, like, a press conference. And he gives different pieces of information about, like, the case, and so it's cut at different times, but it's obviously the same time of day and the same shot, where he just like, all right, let's run through all these police takes.
Did he change clothes?
No!
It's the same. Yeah. It's because the guys editing the documentary were trying to put it together for
Sure, yeah.
comedic intent.
That's
No, I'm kidding.
So we should also say this movie is the only one that doesn't say based on true events
Yeah.
or loosely
God.
gleaned from a true story. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't even try this time, which I guess is slightly better because it made me less pissed.
Yeah, also, before we dive too far into this,
Boo!
hey, I have to say it. The movie's called Cage Dive, okay? Before we get too far into the plot for this, I want to just talk about the creation of this film. I feel like it was probably also the case with the last movie, but it feels even more so with this one, that these people were making a film called Cage Dive.
Mm-hmm.
And then the distribution rights were bought by, Lionsgate, and they were like, how can we make people see this movie?
Yeah.
It definitely was. Like, I looked this up and I found, like, the industry news, blurbs being like, Gerald Racionato's movie picked up by Lionsgate, and it wasn't Open Water 3 in all the countries that Lionsgate distributed in. They had different deals for different countries. But yeah, in the US, Lionsgate was like, they weren't at first too. They like waited after they bought it. They didn't immediately say, we're going to make it open water. They like waited a while and kind of tested the waters, I guess you could say.
It's a 10 Cloverfield Lane type of
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah,
And then they
'cause-
decided to make it Open Water 3.
yeah,
Except
it's
so much worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like a little miniature behind the scenes thing that was clearly put out before the film was released, and in it they're like interviewing all the actors, and there's screens behind them that just say Cage Dive.
Yeah.
And at the very end of it, it says Cage Dive coming soon, and doesn't say open water anywhere.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So they clearly just slapped that on because also, they're probably like, shit, we're also competing with this movie called 47 Meters Down, which is like the same thing.
And The Shallows.
And The Shallows, but
Which,
The
interestingly,
Shallows-
the visual effects supervisor for The Shallows and this movie is the same guy.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow, The Shallows look so much better.
I don't think the special effects were bad in this, really. Like
They weren't.
the sharks were
they were
fine,
good.
Yeah.
They were good for what they were because
Yeah.
they had fucking no money.
I was kind of like, watching this movie, I was like, I wonder if the people putting together this documentary were like, watching the underwater camera footage and going, wow, that shark looks fake.
I would say it does a really, really good job of using like the shitty handheld medium and like underwater and night vision things to get some really cool shots that are obviously using those techniques to mask shitty effects.
Yeah.
And done pretty well. I mean, this visual effects supervisor worked on CG lead on Batman Begins, on some of the Harry Potter movies, over at Double Negative, like legit.
Sweet.
Okay.
So yeah, we so the whole thing is these three friends. They're in Australia. They're going on a cage dive.
It's two brothers and a girlfriend
brothers.
of the
Stepbrothers,
younger brother.
right?
Are they stepbrothers?
Yeah, it doesn't really.
It doesn't really matter.
And that would make more sense.
I
but
think they were
yeah.
like half brothers or something.
Okay.
They're half brothers of
The
some
younger
kind.
brother has a girlfriend named Megan, and
And a heart condition, don't forget.
And a heart condition,
The heart
which-
condition is the baby of this movie.
yeah,
The heart
very
condition-
many times. Did you take your medication? Is it your heart? Did you
feel-
take your medication?
I feel like that came out of nowhere though. Did they mention it like before they were even like in the situation?
They did.
yeah. They
did.
mentioned it like 20 times.
Well, like when they first get the camera, he's
I
like,
didn't even
he's
hear
like,
that.
like the application to your dumb movie, like to your show, like says you can't have a pre-existing condition, so like maybe you should delete that.
Don't
footage.
film me taking my medicine. When they say bye to mom is like, take your medicine. And then when he calls mom later, she's like, are you taking your medicine? Like, many times.
I think I deleted all those scenes from my brain. I don't even remember that at all I remember is like during the thing, like they're freaking out, and all of a sudden she's like, "Oh my god, is it your heart?" And I was like, "What? Something wrong with his heart?"
No, they definitely mentioned it.
They talk about it constantly.
So much.
Totally. It is the baby.
That's
of
why
this
he said
movie.
it's the baby. Like in the second
is-
one, they kept trying to remind you there was a baby.
It's
in
like,
the boat.
remember, all these people suck, but there's a reason for you to care.
I remember them talking about it 2 times in the film. Once when they're in the water, and then the second time when he dies of a heart attack. For
They
some
definitely
reason.
left it there many
Stop
times.
playing Emoji Blitz while you're watching the
I don't
movie.
even have that game.
Shout out to Emoji Blitz.
Please sponsor us.
Yeah, right.
So I don't think I've ever seen a movie front load like tits and ass more than this movie, where it's just I know this is boring, but like, here's some hidden camera footage of a girl taking off her top. Oh wait, the next scene, this girl's gonna take off her top. Like
it's
scene,
just like they're trying to tell you, like, oh, dudes with cameras are gross, and they just take random footage of random girls' butts. You know, it's like, do guys really even do that while they're holding a camera? Like, wouldn't you hold the camera and only look with your eyes at the girl's butt?
My favorite part about that whole like sequence is that like they get the camera, they're testing it out, right, and then Jeff's girlfriend Megan comes home. She's like, I need to take a shower. And like later on in the movie, we find out they've been dating for 3 years. And he's asking her to marry her. Like, and so, but he decides to do, he's like, I'm gonna hide this camera in the shower.
Yeah, or in the bathroom, pointing at the shower.
Yeah, at the shower, and it's just like, what?
And that scene was amazing because, like, as soon as she's about to take her bra off, it's like, battery low.
No.
I didn't think that was funny. That was one of the times that I laughed out loud.
No, it was.
I was like, this
dumb.
is dumb, but I mean, yeah.
Better than showing her. Ugh.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
There's no nudity in this film.
There's no nudity in this film. No nude with glasses.
I
but
do feel
definitely pervier. There's definitely more
Yeah.
voyeurism.
Yeah.
I feel like these guys would do that, though.
Yeah.
Like, these guys, if any guys are going to do it, it'd be these bros.
Yeah, they're bros.
These guys
Yeah.
were gross.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Laguna Beach
one
pride.
interesting thing is that
they got that right.
Yeah, so these people are supposedly from Laguna Beach, and so they're like, bro, we're at Laguna Beach and we're representing, and we're, I keep like inflating my muscles or whatever for the camera, and then they have all this footage where they're going on a trip to Santa Monica Pier, the Pacific Park or whatever it's called, and they're like, this is where we came on our first date. Well, I'm only from North Orange County, but I promise you that nobody from freaking Laguna Beach drives all the way to Santa Monica for a date, ever, especially not a first date. Like, that is so freaking far away.
The Santa Monica Pier is really cool, right?
But there's like 85 other piers in Orange County. It's like, people don't cross the orange curtain unless they absolutely have to.
But only one of them has a really shitty roller coaster.
California jokes.
Yeah. And also, I thought it was so stupid to even say that they were all from Laguna Beach or even California, because all three of these actors are Australian.
Yeah.
And later in the movie, when they start getting stressed out, their accents start to come out when they're screaming at each other in the water. And I was like, why even make them from California? Why not just make them all from Australia? Like, what was the point of that?
Because Australians wouldn't go on a touristy shark dive.
Yeah.
They might if they were from Sydney and they were going all the way to Queensland to do,
And I also think a lot of this movie was shot in L.A.
Only those, like, beginning scenes.
I feel like the backyard scene, probably.
Oh, maybe.
The actual water
All
stuff
the water
was-
stuff
Yeah.
was over there.
Yeah.
There's some hilarious deleted scenes actually on the.
Yeah.
They're so funny. they deleted these scenes where it's like more stuff before they're in the water.
God.
And they have all these like.
This movie takes 2/3 of it before they get in the water.
I know. Yeah, they're in the water for like 20
So
minutes.
much build-up compared to the other two movies.
But they have these scenes where they're like, if you were filming audition tape, you might like have these individual moments where you like say your cool talents or whatever. And
God.
the one guy, Josh's talent was that he can add numbers in his head really well. And then Jeff's talent with the heart condition was that he could like do backflips and like does backflips over Megan in the yard. But the way it's shot, you can tell
that
she's
she
like,
wasn't underneath him.
yeah, she's like laying on the ground, and he's jumping.
Oh, it's like a
so
it's like a forced perspective.
Yeah, so
thing.
far behind him, and they must have cut it out because it's so obvious when he lands, and he's like, "Yeah!"
I honestly can't believe that things were cut from this movie.
and then my favorite one is
I feel like that they stretched every scene out to get it to 120 minutes.
yeah, my favorite one is that Megan's hidden talent is that she loves eating food. And she pulls out, she's like, look, she pulls out this hot dog eating contest trophy, and the guy's all like, oh wow, so you like eating hot dogs? And she's like, yeah, can you eat 32 hot dogs?
Yeah. It's such a subtle joke. Do you like putting wieners in your mouth?
She's good at sucking down
yeah, girl.
wet hot dogs. It's so stupid.
So subtle.
Oh, good.
So that's my DVD corner.
So
Justin's DVD corner.
Justin's DVD corner.
It's gonna be our new segment.
Yes. So, yeah, you find out that Jeff. They give you. They try very, very hard. They spend 40 minutes trying to make you give a shit about these people, and they're the worst. But Jeff wants to like has a dumb there's this dumb scene that Jeff like sets up the camera and he's like, I'm gonna ask Megan to marry me. Like, look how serious I am. I even have the ring. It's like, of course you do. Like, why? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Although he said he was going to ask her to marry him on the reality show. So why did you take the ring with you all the way to Australia with your, like, you shouldn't bring valuables.
None
on
of
a
these
trip
people
like
are responsible.
Yeah.
No one in this movie is. And then so the camera's rolling, and then you find out that his brother comes in, and like they had him and his brother had him and Megan had a thing before.
Really?
Or
don't
like
get that at all.
I'm not really
She's
sure.
cheating on him with the other brother.
yeah.
That's
They
the
were
moral
like-
of the story.
yeah.
That's it. Okay.
So the
great.
other brother goes out to take a phone call, but he leaves the camera on and he films them, canoodling and being like, "We shouldn't do this. Oh my gosh!"
And then party scene, and then my favorite scene in this movie, is where like he calls his brother in, and he's like, "Bruh, check this out." Like, I'm
Got
gonna-
this.
like so he's
This is like later when they're in the hotel or something.
because they've met their cousin over there who is Australian TJ Miller.
Yeah.
He totally is. I thought that same thing.
And then they fly to the other side of the country to do their shark dive, whatever. And as normal humans do, he's like, "Bro, come look at this video." He doesn't just show him the ring. He goes, check out my lame confessional that I'm sending
It's not even that he shows him the ring on camera. He films himself showing his brother his filmed footage of showing the ring to the camera.
I was
on
like,
the computer.
Inception.
It's a filmception. Yeah.
And then I was like, he's like, I was like, did this guy watch the video for like 2 more seconds to see his brother in there making out?
He specifically turns it on mute and then walks behind the computer, and then the other brother's like, "Oh, don't go over here!"
No. The other brother like knows what's happening. He's like, "Is this for real?" And then like he does this thing, is like tries to like, "Stand up, bro! Like I need to give you a hug." And then like there's like it's like this Abbott and Costello routine where he's trying to stop his brother from getting in front of the screen.
Yeah. Because his brother's like, "Oh, it kept filming. Like, oh, let's see what it does."
And
oh my God.
But he doesn't find out. Is the moral of the story.
The filmmakers cared more about that scene than anything else that happened in this movie.
It is very planned out and just ridiculous, and just
so
a video within a video within a video within us looking at it in another video.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I should have filmed myself watching that scene.
It stretches the meta of the reality show documentary found footage movie that they're trying to make.
So let's get to the main event.
Yes.
The frickin' cage dive.
Yes.
So, we get on the boat. They get some brief instructions. They get in the cage. 2 minutes later, they're out of the cage for the rest of the movie. They're in the cage for 2 seconds.
2 seconds, yeah.
For
they're
quote
there
unquote
in,
jump scare, and then that's
Cape Catastrophe, which is actually the real place that is named that. I was like, is that fake or what? But you see, they also filmed themselves watching the safety video so that we get all the basics that you're not supposed to flail around, you're not supposed to swim at night.
The movie
and
gives you the shark rules.
Shark rules, which they filmed themselves watching the safety video and signing the consent form saying that they won't sue if they get killed.
And this is another example of this movie just telegraphing everything that's going to happen and telling you what you're about to see, because the list of the safety video is like, don't flail, like don't swim at night or dusk, don't swim at dusk, dawn, or at nighttime. Yeah. And all these things, like, well, like I'm gonna see all of these things.
Yeah.
It's like 5 things that are just about
I'm pretty
to
sure
happen.
Don't split up, don't stay alone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they immediately try to do all those things as soon as they're in the water.
Yeah. Oh God! So the whole thing is that they're in when they were taking the cage dive, they were the unlucky 3 that happened to be in the cage dive when its gigantic CGI monster wave comes,
a rogue wave,
and flips the entire boat over. So all the people are in the water.
Which again, they tell you is going to happen in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, with the documentary news.
Because there's like news footage that's saying like, oh, like a rogue wave knocked this thing over.
So we already know the rogue wave is coming, right?
The same wave from the Poseidon adventure.
No, but my favorite thing is like there's this little CG dumb like recreation of it that almost looks better than the actual version of it in the movie.
But so the movie's called Cage Dive, right? And so I'm like, okay, the wave is going to tip the boat over, but yeah, maybe it'll be super cool because these people will be stuck in the cage, right? And that's what you think. They're in the cage, they pop up for a second, they see the wave coming and the boat flipping over, boat immediately opens the cage and they're out of the cage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why?
I don't know.
So then all the people are in open water. A bunch of them die immediately. We get some cool, hilarious shark deaths.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole news report thing was to show that there were some survivors, so that maybe throughout the movie you're thinking like, oh, maybe these people survive. Like they found the camera, but maybe the reason they're showing this isn't just to show people how they died, but like that they survived.
But then the cousin's like, I don't even think we should show it.
Yeah. Do you guys remember? Yeah, it was really.
But he shows it anyway because it's the story of them finding hope in a bad situation.
Do you guys remember that scene where in the beginning where they were still like having fun and they're out with the cousin or whatever, and they're like referencing. In my mind, I was like, oh man, they're referencing a drift because they're all jumping off this yacht.
Yeah, you get like a red herring yacht trip.
I was like, there's the ladder. They got the ladder down.
Yeah.
But there's this hilarious scene where like everyone's on the boat, but Megan's in the water, and there's like a scene where the cousin is like, yeah, Megan was in the water, but something just wasn't right. Like, super serious. And then she's in the water and you can't see what's happening, and you see everyone going, oh my god.
She does the same something just touched my leg line.
Oh, what's going on? And then you find out that like they were just whales.
Some humpback whales.
But I was mad
Cut
that like
stock footage of humpback whales.
Yeah, I was mad that they had that scene of the cousin being like, something just wasn't right. Why would they do that? I mean,
it's a fake out because they want you to think that this
obviously,
boat
but
trip
it's
is already the open
like
water.
If you're supposed to think that this is a real person saying this, why would he say it like that? If he knew it was whales,
to them dying later.
If he knew it was whales the whole time.
because the confines of this frame documentary are wafer thin.
I know.
Why would the documentarian even ask the cousin about any of that stuff, which is not relevant to the incident in question?
I still don't understand the point of making this documentary to begin with. If it's literally just about them dying.
It shows that they were able to find hope in a bad situation.
It shows that they burned a woman alive.
Dude, that was hilarious.
We need to get to that.
We'll get to that, but like, so the guy who finds the footage, he's just like, so I found the footage and like I thought somebody lost their camera, so I just started posting some of it to social media.
He apparently didn't watch all the way through either.
Yeah.
Oh shit, they died at the end. Spoilers.
So yeah, I did think it was kind of cool when one of the their boat people got like half his face bitten off, and there was like a big old flap of face.
Yeah.
Like that looked okay.
And then they immediately got eaten by sharks.
Yeah, then a lot of people got eaten by sharks, and you're down to like just the three of them for some reason.
Yeah, and I also had a hard time believing that they wouldn't have gotten rescued because
and there were other survivors too. You see the other survivors in the documentary.
There's other survivors, and there's helicopters flying like right around by them, and it was a huge news story. So like, how did they not just look a little bit further and find
And you know, I think the reason that they survived is sharks are incredible judges of character, and they were just like, no, not these people.
Yeah.
No, not these people yet.
Yeah.
But like one day later, these people.
They need to
now we're hungry. We have our choice. There's a lot of decent folk out here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of arguing. There's a lot of dumb crap. I don't even remember. But at some point in the middle of the night, they find the container that has the life raft.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to talk about before that? Because I don't even remember.
Yes, because there's this conflict of they're trying to stay together, and then Jeff keeps trying to be like, I can just go swim and get this thing.
Oh, yeah.
I can just go swim and get there's boats. There's a one thing
He's
that's
trying to
consistent-
swim by himself the entire time.
Yeah, that's consistent of the open water movies is that like when you're just floating in the ocean, no boats can see you. No one can see you. That's what's clear. It's like, so they get the same thing, helicopter stuff flying around. And then Jeff goes off and gets the life jacket, right? And then uses it as shitty leverage on the rest of them the entire time. Like, where he's just like, I got the life jacket. Like, that was good, wasn't it?
He brings it up so many times. Oh, my God.
He's like, I left before and I got a life jacket. Like, I could leave again and maybe we'll get rescued.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So yeah, in the middle of the night, or it's dark already, they find the life raft thing and they pull the string and up comes actually a really great life raft. Like one of the really big ones.
Yeah.
Little tent on top. There's food inside. There's like emergency equipment. There's flares. It's got everything in there.
At this moment, I knew they were going to survive.
Yeah.
I was like,
Any normal person would be able to survive if they found that life raft.
Exactly. I was
That
like,
is so
wow,
much better than anything that anybody in any
Yeah.
of these other movies had. Like, you know.
It has.
Yeah,
It
I
has.
was like, they're
it
totally
has,
safe now.
It has rations. It has cover from the sun. It has flares.
It has flares.
Yeah, it has. It has everything but a signal radio, which I imagine it probably had
In real life,
Yeah.
yeah.
it definitely had like a light on the top
A
of
light
it.
on the top, yeah, to signal planes or whatever, but...
Oh, one thing that we did leave out is that how they found it is that the camera has a night vision function.
yeah.
And so they're using that as the tool to get through it. So like you see some night vision bullshit.
Yeah, we had our first night vision sequence in
That's
all of the series because
That's true.
there was a storm in the first one, but no camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so they're in the life raft. Awesome. And then she decides to, even though they're in the life raft, she still thinks they're going to die. So she takes the camera while the two brothers are sleeping and she records like a confessional, even though there's not a confessional room. So she does like a,
like-
real world Jersey Shore Big
She's
Brother,
talking to her
like,
parents.
oh my God, Mom and Dad, I love you. Like, and I know what I need to do now. I'm hurting both of these men. And blah, blah, blah. But she never reveals like which one she was going to pick, when
Yeah.
she apparently made a decision.
I need to leave something behind.
Yeah, and so then how does this escalate?
Then
They shoot off a flare like normal.
Right.
Boom.
One flare. Yeah.
And they're
and
like, what did we say?
it's even unclear how many they have. Is it just the
They
two?
have
I think they had two.
They
Yeah.
have two.
Okay. And so they shoot it off. It's bright, but nothing really happens. I was
think-
kind of hoping that when it went off, that you see like a bunch of sharks in the water. But like,
Yeah, don't they shoot it off and like while it's lit up? Is that when they see the other person floating?
No,
No.
Oh.
no. They wake up in the middle of the night and they're just like, I just heard something.
Yeah, so the genius guy decides.
Which one?
What's the other brother's name?
Josh.
Oh, it's Jeff and Josh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So maybe they were biological brothers because their parents were like, let's make them all have J names.
Ugh.
I'm sure their brothers Jason and Jack at home are really disappointed
Justin
to not
and
be on
Jordan.
this
Yeah,
trip.
Justin,
Yeah.
Jordan,
Oh, yeah.
Juju.
Choo choo.
He plays for the Jets.
Anyways, they find this lady floating out in the water, and they
It's
bring her.
unclear whether she's dead or alive.
Well, no, they bring her on board, and they're like, she has a pulse. And my first thought was like, I was like, no offense to this actress, but I'm like, no way in hell is she surviving, because she is like clearly not as like as, beautiful as the rest of the actors.
I couldn't even see her.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like,
she looks
she's not
like-
even going to say one word.
Yeah.
And I was proven correct.
You're like, that's a corpse actor right there.
Yeah, I was like, no, she's not getting paid for lines.
So for some reason, Megan freaks
Awful.
out
I
and
know, it
is
was
like, we
bad.
need to get medical attention for this girl right away, and decides that she needs to set off the other flare, like, right now. And one of the brothers is like, no, don't do it right now. There's nobody out there right now. No one came for the other flare. We gotta wait till daytime, blah, blah, blah. And then they start, like, wrestling over
They
the
have
flare.
a-
You know what this scene proves is that Dan's virulent dumbfuckery has made its way to Sydney, Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, they have an open water 2 adrift moment.
Yeah.
It's worse. It's even worse than that.
So they start wrestling over this flare, but it's one of those things where Josh is just like, no, like, we can wait till morning, like, she'll be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, but then he's like, I don't care about her.
Yeah. So anyways, the struggle ensues, and the brilliant Megan sets off the flare inside the tented life raft.
Yeah, and then somehow they all get out.
They
except
all
for
jump out of the boat, except
And
they leave the lady
they get
there.
the camera with
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
They make sure they get that. None
get
of the
the
food
camera.
or anything
Not
else.
the food. Yeah, not the-
But that camera
Yeah,
is coming with.
and they all somehow get out of there like immediately, and then they turn back and see it's on fire, and you can see the lady's arm like going like hitting the side because it's like looks like a tent,
Yeah.
and she's like screaming like, "Oh my god!" And they're just like, holy shit, Megan, you fucking bitch.
She catches on fire, which wakes her up, obviously, and then they have just watch her.
No, now she's alive.
No, because she had hypothermia. They're just trying to warm her up the entire time. Like they're rubbing her legs, and Josh is just like, "We just got to warm her up." And Megan's like, "No, we got to do something. We got to get like." And she's like, "No, she'll be fine. We'll warm her up." And they did. They warmed her up.
They literally set her on fire, and then when the flare finally does explode, the entire raft is done for.
Yeah, and then I think
she gets Viking funeral.
Yeah,
that's right.
She gets the Viking funeral.
She gets to go on to Valhalla.
And then and then immediately after that, the rest of the movie is so funny to me.
It's horrible.
Because
after they do that, you have not even the tiniest bit of sympathy for them anymore. You're like,
oh, yeah.
Just kill them, please.
Yeah,
like,
and then they spend the rest of the film yelling at Megan about how dumb she is.
So yeah, this is where that seed that was planted earlier in the film is that these two brothers, there's some mistrust between them.
Yeah.
They're Eskimo brothers.
Yeah. God.
So
it's like this happens. A woman burns to death, and then it's like, now we're going to do the Trapped in the Mall episode of the OC.
Yeah.
Let's bitch about each other about this dumb.
Wow,
like, it's
that's
not like
an old.
yeah,
but that's what it is. Like it's not like, oh, this isn't a life or death situation. It's like, you dick, Josh. Like, you've been sleeping with my girlfriend.
And it's all because like Megan is like screaming or whatever, and the whole time Josh is like, Megan, shut up! God, you're freaking out. Shut the hell up! And she's like,
which, by the way, audience surrogate.
Yeah, exactly. And she says something like, "You're a freaking liar," and he's like, just shut up for 2 seconds. God, just shut up, Megan. And then that's when Jeff is like, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean you're a liar? What are you lying about, Josh? What are you lying about, Josh?
And then
what are you guys sleeping around on me?
That's the thing. It's like nobody ever admits anything. He just like kind of narrates it as just like, he's like, oh, I see how it is. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
You're sleeping with him.
And then
remember from earlier?
Yeah.
You've been sleeping with everybody.
He's like, are you fucking serious? You're supposed to be my fucking brother. And then he's like, fuck you guys. You're on your own.
And then he just starts swimming away.
Yeah, he's like, fuck off. And he's like, bye. And then,
so stupid.
Somewhere in there, Megan gets eaten by a shark, I think.
Totally missed her death. Like, it was like she was there, and then I looked up again, and she was just gone.
It's because I think for at least 30% of this film, you cannot tell what's going on.
Yeah. Do you see her shark death?
No,
like,
no.
CGI
Okay,
shark?
so here's what happens. She's kind of floating. There's like a long shot, and then a shark like comes by right in front of her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of shaky cam where you can't quite see what happens.
Shaky cam is so annoying.
Yeah, which you can't. It's green night vision and bubbles, and then she kind of shows up, although it kind of looks like an old stump double man.
Yeah.
And then she's dragged down. Almost as if she's being consumed by Cthulhu because everything's green.
It's just bubbles.
Yeah, it's just bubbles and herky-jerky movements.
Yeah, I think for a second you can see her face going down underwater.
Yeah.
For like a split second.
Yeah.
And then you're kind
And
of
then
like,
she's
I
gone.
guess she's dead.
Man, anyway, she's gone.
And then Jeff's like, how do you feel about that, Josh?
Yeah, and then
Yeah, he's like, you know you're a scumbag, right?
Yeah.
You're a scumbag. You know she's dead because of you, Josh, right? And he's like hitting
And
him
then
with
he's even like, the two brothers are hanging on the lifeboat.
No.
With the
It's nighttime. He's doing that, like, you know, like he's just giving him shit about, like, it's not even like, hey, let's survive, like, you know, like that was really scary. It's just like their dumb emotional bullshit. And then it cuts to the morning, and he's like, you're still a piece of shit.
And he's filming this all using the camera battery. He's basically trying to drive his own brother to suicide.
Yeah.
He's like, you're a piece of shit. You don't deserve to live. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you're not my brother anymore. And he's like, that's my life vest. You can't hang on to it. Just go drown.
I got
go
the life
drown
vest,
yourself.
remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. I swear he was like hitting him with the camera, like, what are you doing here? Get up. What are you doing
Stop
here?
hitting yourself.
Yeah.
Stop hitting yourself.
Like, yeah, doesn't even give a shit that the love of his life is gone. Like,
Nope.
he's just like, I just need to, like...
And then Josh finally was like, quit it, man. Knock it off. And then, like, I guess...
Jeff all of a sudden is like,
yeah, he gets overwhelmed.
oh, my heart now. 5 hours later, I'm having a heart attack and
Yeah.
now I'm dead. Bye. And that's it. Like,
And I like, every time this happens...
That is what happens.
Every time this happens, they're like, oh my god, Jeff, is it your heart? Is it your heart? This is why the only time I realized he had a heart problem. And then he's like, I told
They
you to settle
mention it
down.
so many times.
They mentioned it a lot, Justin.
I'm sorry.
So anyways, he dies, and the other one just lets him float away, and then...
Then a helicopter
This was probably the best part of the movie.
wanders onto the scene.
And he's like screaming at the
I'm
helicopter.
gonna be saved! Yeah! Woo! And then...
Immediately, like right before the helicopter is about to like get to him, a shark comes up from underneath him and just eats him. And he's like,
It was a cool shot. That
Yeah.
shark death was cool.
It was cool. And then,
And then-
cracks the lens.
And it's pretty much exactly what you
it
want to
cracks the
happen.
lens.
You're like, I want all these people to die. You
Yeah.
don't want him to be saved. When you see the helicopter, you're like, please no, please let him get eaten by a shark first.
And then it fades to black, and these
Thank
titles.
Oh, God.
Thank you to the families.
Yes, thank you to all the families involved. And I was like, what?
And then
They're probably pissed that you showed their family members getting brutally killed by sharks.
and then it
Or
does
heart
like
attacks.
and then it does a double down on like this was true.
yeah, there's the
And it
there's
shows them being like cute and adorable with each other. It's like fuck those people.
yeah, it shows like more footage from the beginning, and it's like, who
yeah
cares?
their cousin is like, we got to see them hang on to hope.
But we really didn't. Like, they never had an inspirational moment of hope the
I know.
entire
I
time
was like,
they were in
they
the water.
They just bitched at each other the entire
Yeah.
time and were petty and awful. And
Yeah.
then they burned a woman alive.
They never had hope that entire time.
They murdered someone.
He clearly didn't watch the footage either.
Yeah.
He was just like, I assume they were praying
came together
They're
and
praying
tried.
to Jesus the whole time, worshiping the Lord. I think.
Oh, God.
But then, yeah, it shows like brief moments of them being happy, and then there's a freeze frame, like, ding,
Yeah.
and then that's the end.
Mercifully.
This movie's a piece of shit.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
real bad.
We get
The characters are so unlikable.
we get end credits that has a song that during the end, like at least the music in this sounded like modern songs, and they were like nice, but the end credits song was called like everyone's gone or something like that. And when it came to the like song credits, it was performed by the band called the Newton Brothers or whatever that
Right.
wrote the music, but then also performed, it said, by the director and the main actor.
Oh, no.
And I was like, no.
No.
Why?
Boo.
Well, and the Newton
Why?
Brothers have things and lots of things, right?
I don't know. I've never heard of them.
Yeah, I looked this up. Hold on.
The Newton Brothers.
They were the composers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's,
Oh yeah, Oculus, Ouija.
Oh.
The Bye Bye Man.
The Bye Bye Man. Yes.
Oh, gosh. I
So,
did read one interview of the director Gerald Rascianato, and then also the guy who played the Australian cousin. It was clearly an email interview because they both like at the bottom were like, "Whoever's interested in me can follow me on Twitter." Blah blah blah. Like, and the questions were exactly the same for both of them. But the Australian cousin actor made sure to mention that he thinks Gerald Rascianato is going to end up being one of the genius, most influential directors of his generation. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's not like, I mean, it could have been worse. So
The behind the scenes thing was like an interview with him, and he was like, "Yeah, so I was watching. It was Shark Week on the Discovery Channel, and I was like, I want to make a shark movie."
Boo.
And that was pretty much why he did this.
okay.
Hey, James Cameron got started with Piranha, so
I guess Piranha 2, actually.
Yeah.
So this
I
franchise.
should have said Piranha's the now.
Piranhas. Yeah.
So these three movies are connected by this name, but they have nothing to do with each other.
Were any of you guys hoping, like, in some sort of mad conspiracy theory way, that like when in the beginning when they were like, in 2015. An underwater camera was found underwater. I know they didn't really say that, but
It basically was. It was that redundant.
I know. I was like, for a minute, I was like, wouldn't that be awesome if they made some sort of crazy shared universe thing where they're like, they had found the camera from the people in the first movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And I knew
That's
that
what we
wasn't going to
need.
happen, but I was like, that would have been so cool.
We need a fourth movie that explains how they're all connected in the open water cinematic
yeah,
universe.
I want another movie where it's like
Where the eel is doing everything.
Yeah.
He summons the
the
wave.
eel is the mastermind. You find out that like the people in Open Water 2 Adrift, like those girls that flash them as they drive by,
Yeah.
also got in some sort of crazy accident.
That's right. And Dan's boss is the eel.
Yeah, it's all connected. Like the hotel manager from the first film is also the hotel manager in this one.
Yeah, he moved to Sydney.
Yeah.
So, Lionsgate is the one putting out these movies, and we have a nice little quote from the director from the original movie, Chris Kentis, about how this became a franchise.
And remember, this is a man who directed this movie on his weekends over 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put
Sacrificed like his life to make
his
to
and
make
soul
he,
in
this is an interview from IndieWire, and Justin's going to read the quote.
He said, Lionsgate called and said, we'll pay some money if we can do this, Kentis said. So we went along with it. I saw it eventually. It's not a movie that I cared for. He's referring to Open Water Adrift. And then it says, he has yet to see Open Water 3.
So they were just like, hey, we're going to use the same name. Here's a chunk of cash. And they were like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
And so now we have this franchise, which it seems like Lionsgate is just kind of buying up whatever movies have a vaguely oceany theme to them and throwing them out with Open Water, which I guess is not the worst idea in the world, you know?
guess.
I don't know. Like,
I mean, the first one was wildly successful. I mean, it's a name recognition
Yeah.
franchise.
I mean,
for
these
sure.
indie directors then are getting their movies bought up and put out there with a slightly recognizable name, so that maybe like 8 more people went to see it that,
Right.
you know, liked the first Open Water.
I don't hate the practice, and
Yeah.
and this one, if you're looking for positives and bright sides, is that, you know, it is this kind of found footage documentary. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it does kind of plays into the digital video feel of the first one more than two.
I just felt like the found footage thing really weakened any suspense, because the whole thing about the first movie is that we saw the sharks and they didn't. Like, we always saw what was going on underwater and the two main characters didn't. And the second movie, it was just like, you know, no one had any idea what was going on down there. But this one, there's no suspense because you only see what they see in the camera.
I think that there's no suspense in this movie because everybody's talking about what's happening.
That
the
too.
entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that, like, you know, all the characters are such shitbags
It
that
was
you're
bad.
like,
Yeah.
that you're like, I want them all to die.
Yeah.
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 You're like, I wish that I burned up when that lady burned up.
I mean, they murdered someone. They murdered someone with stupidity.
They did murder someone.
I mean,
with
I guess
stupidity.
that happened in the last movie too. Lots of people got murdered by stupidity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man,
At least-
this is a really stupid one. They were
Yeah.
all set. They could have survived
I
for like
know.
a week
It
on
was
that raft.
so bad. I'm just like, how did they not get saved? I
The
don't
pacing
really
of the
understand.
movie is really bad.
Yeah.
I know. They got in the water, and I had like paused it for a second, and I was like, "Damn, there's only 20 minutes left."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What? This movie's so short."
Yeah.
It's the shortest one out of all of them. I'm pretty sure it's like 81 minutes.
Yeah. So overall, how do we feel about Open Water as a franchise, and how would you rank these 3 movies?
Well, I think it's a shit cash grab franchise.
Mm-hmm.
That started from a really successful indie film, which makes it cool because most franchises don't get started that way.
Yeah.
Of something that was original idea. I think that not, 2 and 3, they are variations on things that made the original one successful, and so that in and of itself, I don't know. There's a shitty cash grab franchise that somehow has better sequel elements than some of the other franchises that.
Yeah, I
we've
mean,
done.
this is the first one we've done that doesn't have a continuous story throughout all 3 of them.
Right.
It's
It's
more
just like
thematic.
Episodes.
Yeah, they're like,
But-
spiritual sequels.
But you can definitely see, like, oh, they're pulling that piece of that, they're pulling this, and and some of them were expanded in ways that on paper maybe somebody thought they could be clever.
Yeah. But they just didn't turn out so well. So.
They didn't turn out.
I mean, I don't hate the thing of like we're buying up these small movies and like uniting them. I don't hate that, but they just need to pick better movies.
Yeah.
So
So how many hot dog trophies out of 10 would you guys give this one?
This one gets a solid Polish sausage won.
Yeah, I mean,
hot dog
I would
trophies.
say 1 because I gave the other movie 2. You know,
yeah.
like I thought that it couldn't possibly be worse than Adrift, and it is so much
I know.
worse. Like when I thought about
is
it,
way worse.
I looked back and was like, oh wow, Adrift was great compared to this.
I know,
and I
I was
was
thinking the
so
same thing.
mad after Adrift.
I would
so-
maybe like affirm my score or change my score to something different.
Yeah.
For Adrift maybe, but I'm gonna have to go with 1 hot dog trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, nobody can eat 64 hot dogs
No.
for 2 trophies. It's just too much. Not even Megan could do that shit, okay? And Megan's like a hot dog queen.
And if they showed it to us, I won't want to see it.
I know.
So do we all agree that it's like 1, 2, 3 on how we would rank
Yeah.
these movies?
I would say yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
And if anyone says it different, I'm going to punch you right now.
I do not think that.
Tyler! I'm kidding. I'm not going to punch anyone. Except this shark! Kidding.
Which no one ever did. No one,
Yeah, no, they didn't. They
no
never
one's
got a chance.
No, you know the thing that really upset me about this movie? There's a point where, like, right before Megan dies, when the shark swims by, and like its tail hits her in the leg, she's like, "Something hit me in the leg," and it's like, if a great white tail hits you, you'd be fucked up.
Okay, this is another thing. Okay, yeah, that's true. This
Yeah,
is another.
it would so much for it's swimming. Like you'd be like, "Fuck," and then it would
Yeah.
cut you. Like that's what would happen.
This is another thing that I thought was shitty about the movie. Now that I'm thinking about it, I remember that. So they're in the cage. The rogue
rage
wave,
cage.
the rage cage, the rogue wave hits them,
Yep.
and they get tossed out of the cage. And it didn't seem like they were that worried. Like they knew that great white sharks were there the entire time.
They were not concerned.
And they did not seem that worried at all. I would be freaking the fuck out because they were just watching all the sharks and there was bait and everything. And then they're in the water and immediately they're like, "Oh, should we swim to this boat? No, let's not swim to this boat. No, let's wave at the thing." And it's like they're not even saying like,
Yeah.
"There's a fucking great white shark." Like the person next to us just got eaten. Like
Yeah.
you know,
They're not freaking out.
Like the whole time they're just like,
do you know what? Do you know
"Ho-hum."
why that is? Because there was somebody. They shot all the camera footage, and then they were like, "Well, then an effect shot's going to happen over here."
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the first one, I think it was strengthened by having all those real sharks all the
Yeah,
time. Like
exactly.
this one, they didn't have to deal
Well,
with that.
and I also think that we talked about how that lightning storm thing was kind of hokey, but kind of awesome
Yeah.
in the first one, where you don't really see what happens, and they make it ambiguous. Way, way, way better than a CG shark biting a dude in half, or bringing Megan vaguely down into the deep.
The Megan death was bad, but I did like the couple of other CG shark deaths.
I absolutely
they were
agree.
funny. They made me laugh out loud.
They
like
are,
in a really
they
bad
are
way.
funny, but like what I'm saying is that thing that we thought was kind of hokey in the first one is way more effective as a storytelling tool than
Yeah.
anything else that happened in this movie.
So I haven't seen 47 Meters Down or The Shallows. I think you guys have. How does this cage movie?
I haven't seen 47 Meters Down,
okay.
and I won't because now they're coming out with a sequel. So
Oh,
Yeah.
so we should wait. Okay.
gotta wait. But I
I did see The Shallows, yeah.
The Shallows was great. I
I
did
really
think it
liked
was
it.
funny. I popped in the Blu-ray. Very first trailer was for 47 Meters
Oh,
Down.
really?
That's
Okay.
hilarious.
So
mean,
do we
yeah.
think that this whole open water thing will continue? I mean, this just came out in August. So do we think that Lionsgate is going to keep this up?
Yeah. So when was the last one? Was what 2008? What was it?
Last what?
Adrift. When was it?
Oh.
2007.
It was in 2006.
2006. Okay. So it's been a long time.
It's been a long time, yeah.
And like, yeah, I was just, I found this one and we decided to do this because I was just surfing like Voodoo's independent storefront where they always have like the stuff that goes straight to video on demand or something. And it was like Open Water 3. And I was like, what the fuck? They made an Open Water 3?
Yeah.
Like, we need to do this shit. And so, I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere, in my opinion. So, I have no gauge of as to how well this did.
Yeah,
in
it depends.
rentals
It
or
depends
anything.
if they made any money off of it.
But I feel like
Why
Yeah,
not?
they
Yeah,
might.
it's like cheap to do. They're buying up small movies anyway
Yeah,
to
they might make
distribute.
another one.
And so since those other successful
Yeah.
movies have shark things, they're going to probably
shark
try to
movies are
capitalize
having a
it.
comeback a little
So
bit.
if there was an open water for what do you think it would be? How would it be different than the previous three? What would you
Open
want
water
to see?
for, let's see.
It's gonna be in a lake, and it's gonna be Nessie.
No.
Ooh.
Oh,
But that's
yeah,
not really open
interesting.
water. A lake is by definition like closed water.
I think I'm going to go with
Big enough lake.
the classic, it's got to be in space this time.
Ooh, space water.
Space water. Like you take the scene from not Inception, from Interstellar, and you add sharks to it.
Sure.
Why not? Open Water 4.
Well,
in
I sent
space.
you guys. There was an article about there's these two girls that were stuck on their boat for 5 months. In shark infested waters.
But you know what the problem with that is?
They lived and everything was fine.
Also, they were on the boat.
Yeah, and they didn't jump off or do anything dumb.
Yeah, they have to at some point be in open water, otherwise, like, you know.
I'd like to see how people of color do in open water, because we've only seen white people, right?
Yeah.
they were all white. So let's see how if other ethnicities fare any better in the open water.
What I'd actually like to see is and the visual effects supervisor in this movie was also did Kon-Tiki, but like that type of like ancient peoples, like Pacific Islanders, their initial journey of like it's like a prequel open water. Of
So you want to see an open water period piece?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Because like those people
That was worse,
were
yeah.
badasses.
No one's coming to rescue them.
Yeah, they're just like there's no helicopter flying by, there's no tent with a flare in it. It's just like, nope, we're gonna die out here.
Yeah. I think the more likely setup would be, I think they'll go back to being old school, and it'll be focused on one person.
That's right.
And it'll be some sort of thing where they're like on vacation again, and they go paragliding or whatever, and they somehow get detached from the boat and start flying further away, and for whatever reason
They can't find it.
they can't find them, so now they're out in the open water by themselves.
I think found footage, like, is
The
over.
boat hits
No more
like an
found
exposed reef because of global warming and dropping
yeah.
sea levels.
wow.
And so everyone on the boat dies.
Yeah, there you go. See,
So that could
we're-
be a mashup of Open Water 4 and an inconvenient
Truth.
threequel. Yeah.
Lionsgate, we're writing your next movie for you. Come
Al
talk to
Gore
us.
gets lost on a paragliding trip.
An inconvenient
And
truth.
it ends with him being like, I told you. And then a shark breaks the lens.
Yeah.
God, okay.
I want to see okay, the other thing I would love to see is a film from the shark's perspective.
Yeah, I'm just killing these assholes that
Isn't
just
there a
want
movie
to...
called, like, A Shark's Tale?
Yeah, they
or
get
whatever?
Will
Yeah.
Smith from A Shark's Tale. And no, I think Jack Black played the shark.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jack.
really?
I
So
think
they get
there's
Jack
I think
Black
there's a lot of
voicing the
I think there's a lot of sharks in that movie.
Well, yeah, but I think the main
Is it Robert
character,
De Niro in one of those shark movies?
He is in that movie.
Yeah.
but like the character that Will Smith plays is not a shark.
No one's
I don't
here to
remember.
debate
I
Shark
literally
Tale.
never saw that movie.
Anyways, Jack Black voicing a shark
Okay.
in Open Water 4. But I want it to be a real shark.
So
Well, like Homeward Bound, the incredible journey,
Yes.
where the
Yes.
mouths are moving.
Sally Field voices a jellyfish.
where Jack Black's shark mom always told him about, people vacationing and getting lost in the water, but he's never seen it happen.
All right. So let's announce our next franchise.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be Open Water.
Yes, goodbye, Open Water.
Until Open Water 4.
Yeah, we'll do a bonus
We'll see.
episode when the next Open Water comes out.
We'll see.
So next week we will be starting a new franchise that I am very excited about. I believe that my two co-hosts have not seen the first film in this franchise.
I don't even know what it is at all.
I haven't seen any of them.
It is Darkman. Sam Raimi and Liam Neeson.
Ooh.
In Sam Raimi's superhero precursor. I have not seen Darkman 2 or 3 and was shocked to find out that there was a third one.
Yeah.
But I am very excited about this. I love the first movie.
It's going to be fun.
And where are these
gonna be-
available?
If you guys want to follow along, right now they are available on Showtime.
Showtime.
Or
And
on
you can
Blu-ray?
also get them, Shout Factory has some awesome Blu-rays. We'll be talking about those for sure.
For sure. That's gonna wrap up our
Yeah.
Open Water talk.
Thanks for being with us, you guys. As usual, we would like to thank my brother for the theme music at the top. And Eliz, where can people reach out to us?
Please email us suggestions for your next franchises. And you can email us at sequelrights@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at sequelrights or on facebook.com/sequelrights. And so let us know your
rate
feedback.
and review us on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you get your podcast. It really helps us out a lot. And
yeah, please, email us. Let us know the last time that you just couldn't take it any longer and had to pee in open water. We want to know. Tell us the situation.
Or,
It'll be great.
or closed one.
Closed water.
Water. Tell us about the last time you peed in a public pool.
Technically, a toilet's closed water.
Yeah, true. All
Tell
right.
us if you have the Trump pee tape. Anyway.
Wow. Okay. I think that's going to bring us to the end, y'all. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week for Darkman.
I get lost in the light. You go swimming in the dark. We gonna figure it out, making it up as we go along. We can stay like that. We can talk all night, staring up at the stars, waiting around for